Every morning, he carried more than his body should hold. And every morning, he told himself the same thing, just keep moving. There is a kind of animal that never stops working. Never complains, never rests, never asks why. It just pushes. And somewhere deep inside, it believes that if it works hard enough, long enough, something good will finally come. Maybe you know that feeling. The mountain was cold before sunrise. Fog hung low between the pine trees. The trail was rocky, narrow, and steep, the kind of path that made younger animals hesitate at the bottom before even trying. But not the mule. Every single morning before the light came, he was already there, already loaded, already moving. His hooves hit the stone with a slow, heavy rhythm. His breath came out in white clouds in the cold air. His back carried wooden crates, rope, heavy sacks, more than any one animal should carry alone. The other animals watched from the valley. Some admired him, some felt sorry for him, most just moved aside and let him pass. The mule never noticed. He was already focused on the top. There was also a horse on that mountain. She carried lighter loads. She moved slower some mornings, and sometimes she stopped completely. Not from exhaustion, from watching. She stood still on the trail, studying the slope, looking at where the wind moved differently, noticing how water carved paths through the rock over many seasons. She walked small side trails that led nowhere, or so it seemed. The mule passed her every time. "You waste your mornings," his heavy steps seemed to say. And maybe he was right. The horse arrived at the top later. She carried less. By every measure that mattered on that mountain, the mule was winning. Winter came hard that year. The snow made the trail longer. The ice made every step dangerous. The mule's loads grew heavier because fewer animals were willing to climb at all. So he carried more. His hooves cracked from the cold ground. His shoulders ached through the night, but he never stopped. Because stopping felt like failing. And the mule had never failed. One morning in early spring, the mule didn't make it to the top. Halfway up the mountain, in the place where the trail bent sharply and the wind hit hardest, his legs simply gave out. He didn't fall dramatically. There was no thunder, no storm. He just stopped. And slowly, quietly, sank to his knees on the cold stone. His breathing was ragged. His body shook. The heavy load on his back pressed him further into the ground. He had broken. Not from one hard day, not from one heavy load. From 1,000 days of carrying too much in the wrong direction, and never once asking why. That same morning, the horse reached the top of the mountain. But not on the old trail. She arrived from the east side, through a narrow path hidden between two boulders that most animals had walked past for years without ever noticing. A trail that was shorter, smoother, protected from wind on both sides. She had been studying that mountain all year. Every quiet morning, every small detour, every moment the mule thought she was wasting time. She wasn't resting. She was learning. The horse didn't celebrate at the top. She stood in the early light, breathing slowly, looking back at the long old trail below. She thought about the mule. And she walked back down on her shorter path and found him still on his knees in the snow. She didn't speak, she didn't have to. She just stood beside him in the silence until his breathing slowed. The mountain didn't look different. The weight hadn't disappeared. The journey was still long and hard and cold. But for the first time in a long time, there was a better way forward. Hard work is not the enemy. But hard work without direction will eventually break even the strongest animal. The mule carried everything except one thing: awareness. He was so focused on moving that he never stopped to think about where he was moving to. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is not push harder. It is to pause. To study the mountain.